You had a lot of high stake environments is probably the easy way to define some of your experience, whether it was McDonald's or military. What about those high stakes environments, if you want to go a little deeper with me, Keith, that helped you define servant leadership further? If we want to go there, if that's fair.
Yeah, and I think back to my experiences. I was in Germany for 3 years, and to give a little context, I left Germany in '89. So I believe it was, can't remember if it was August of '89 or something like that when the Berlin Wall started coming down. So at that time, it
Right.
was the 40th anniversary of the Berlin Wall coming down. I was in Berlin then
Really?
at the time when they were having the riots and all of that stuff. So I was not able to go into East Berlin. So that's kind of the context. And we used to have what they call these no notice alerts. A no notice alert would be you would load up all of your stuff, recall roster, 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever, and then you hit the road in a convoy like you were going to war. And I remember looking back that there were still plans as late as at the time, 1987, where Russia was going to come over the border. So this was no joke. And we would practice and we would do these things, and there would be timing, how long did it take us to get together, and those type of things. So we played, I wouldn't say play, I mean, we practiced. It was what we did on a regular basis. And depending on where you were in Germany, you were practicing your mission on a regular basis. It's what you did. And that's just part of the military culture, that oftentimes what you're doing is your mission. Now, because I was in an ordnance unit, we fixed equipment, which was a little different because the folks that were out in the field, they would be the ones that were fighting the wars. But if their equipment broke, they would send it back to us. So we would train once a week. We would do a day of training and preventative maintenance checks and services. That would all be every Wednesday. And so that was something that we did. And there was a correlation between leadership and how well you took care of your vehicles, how well you trained. And so those are just things that you get used to, but it was just kind of the whole thought process when we think about the military. I remember when the first Gulf War happened, there was a helicopter unit that was not able to go over. And I remember them talking about the helicopters. There were issues with the helicopters, this, that, and the other. They sent a helicopter unit from Germany. It wasn't the helicopters, it was a leadership issue. The
Hmm.
lack of maintenance was a reflection of the leadership. So all of these things begin to come together and kind of put together a story. So when we think about leadership, when we think about things like everybody's going to follow orders, it's you have to follow orders, but at the same time, part of your responsibility is to tell it like it is, and everybody has an opportunity to lead. Everybody has a function in the military. If you're the armor, for example, you might be a E4, but your responsibility is to make sure that all of the weapons are clean. So you might have to tell a lieutenant your weapon's not clean enough. I
Yeah.
had that happen to me,
Really?
and I decided to pull rank, which was dumb at the time. And I think from that time forward until the time that I left Germany, he always called me LT, never called me
Hmm.
sir or anything like that because I had lost his respect. Because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, he had a job, and I thought he was being difficult. But whether he was being difficult or not, he had a job to do. And if he didn't think my weapon was clean enough, it probably wasn't clean enough. And so here
Yeah.
again, orders only go so far. You still have to influence through people. You have to get them to do the things that need to be done. And sometimes it just means having a conversation, not giving an order. People will
Right.
respect you far more having a conversation and getting some insights from them, what their thought processes are, and those things together. And then you can come up with an ideal of what's going to work, what makes sense.